Hey everybody, welcome to Ask a Trader. Finally back. It's been a few weeks since I did one of these with summertime starting and the kids being off from school. Lots of family events planned. Did a road trip out to Indiana to visit my dad and actually went to the beach for a week and got some other things planned this summer. Not as big, not as involved. So we'll be back on a consistent schedule. But I am excited to be here with everybody today. It is hot and I just got done getting a run in, so if I'm a little sweaty, you know why. I got my summer haircut going on. With this backdrop here, it kind of looks like I'm balding. I just have very thin hair and a big forehead, at least that's what I tell myself. But anyway, if you guys have questions, just go ahead and throw those in the chat and I will respond to them. But let's go ahead and jump in and take a look at the broader markets, and let me just give you a preview of what's happening in the next few weeks in terms of the market, what we need to be aware of, and really just to kind of set the stage for where we currently are. So last Friday, Thursday or Friday, I can't remember which day, we had PCE, which is the Fed's preferred gauge of inflation, which came in lower than expected, and the market has been rallying since. And what we have coming next week, I believe Thursday and Friday, or we'll take a look at it on the economic calendar, is we're going to have CPI and PPI. And you guys know that inflation reports drive the markets, especially for our smaller cap stocks, the stocks that are rate sensitive. If those numbers come in lower, because the recent inflation reports have been coming in cooler than expected and employment has been taking a bit of a hit, it could put the Fed in a position where they can cut rates. The next FOMC meeting, when the Fed will meet to make a decision for July, is July 30th and 31st. And on the 31st, they're going to announce what their decision is. And so I'm in the camp that they're going to cut rates. A lot of people are saying they're going to wait until September, but I think they're going to be proactive because they're starting to see some contraction in the economy, some weakening. And I think that first cut comes in at the end of the month. And here's what I'll say is we're due for a correction. And I know a lot of people are thinking that with the rate cuts will come just continue to fly in the markets, but I think it'll be a sell the news kind of deal. I think you'll see a rotation into some of the small cap stocks, but I think you'll see some of the bigger tech companies begin to pull back. So that's just a little overview to get started, but let's just jump in and take a look at the broader markets here. And let me go over to the SPY, and you could see, bang, we hit another new all-time high. At least that's where we are as of 3:03 today on this Friday, July 5th. Hope you had a great Independence Day, and you could see, bang, 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 three nice bullish days in a row. But notice this is not a lot of volume. Now, holiday week, so you're not going to have a ton of volume during this week. It was a partial trading day on Wednesday. The market was closed on Thursday. You'll see that volume pick up a little bit next week, but typically in the summer you do see a decrease in volume. But you can see down here the markers for so Powell will speak next week. He's going to speak twice actually, and then we get the core inflation rate there on the 11th. So let me just pull up the calendar here, economic calendar for next week. We could see let's see here, let's just go through. So Powell will speak at 11. So that's going to drive the markets. People will hang on every word that he has to say. You'd have some other Fed speakers. And then we have another Powell speech on at 10 a.m. on Wednesday. So that's going to move the markets as well. And then Thursday are the big numbers that we're waiting for. It's going to be the CPI. And we'll have to see how that comes in. We have a Fed speaker. We have Bostic that comes in after that. So I'm sure he'll reference those inflation reports. And then we get PPI on Friday. So next week, you want to talk about volatility. It's going to be intense. Now, the other part to keep in mind is next week begins earnings season. And if you go to Friday's the big day. And I had trouble with this earlier on TradingView, so I won't even try to mess with it. But Friday will be the big day for earnings because you're going to have some of the big banks reporting their earnings. JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, Citibank, I believe, are reporting on Friday, and that really kicks off this next round of earnings. And people are going to be looking to see how the banks report, to see the health of the banks. And again, that's going to play into how stocks move. So get ready and buckle up for next week because it's going to be intense. It's going to be volatile, and every day there's going to be something going on. And probably Monday, a little bit of chop. Tuesday on Powell speech will move. Wednesday on Powell speech will move. Thursday will definitely move on CPI. Friday will definitely move on PPI. So it's going to be fun and earnings. So we're going to see some volatility. But again, you can see new all-time highs on the SPY. If I go to the Qs, it's going to be the same exact thing here. If my internet would ever pick up. Yep. So I got to adjust my lines. I have to update my charts this weekend. New all-time highs on the Qs. The one that's still hanging back and hasn't really done much of anything, and I keep waiting on it, but who knows when it's going to happen, is the IWM. You could see this upper trend line. This has been serving as a resistance. Every time it gets above it, it's getting rejected off this trend line that's been established, and it's building pressure, and it's waiting for some mark of, hey, rate cuts are coming. Now we did get bought up of this lower trend line. We'll see how that finishes out today, but we haven't got any strong move out of there. And really, it's not a broad market run right now. It's all concentrated into your bigger name stocks. But if we can get some hope and some optimism around rate cuts, you'll see the IWM begin to take off. If we take a look at volatility, still very low. You do have it picking up slightly because of all the things that are on tap for next week. So like I said, next week is going to be a big week and a volatile time for the markets. Look at Meta. Geez. And I believe this is all-time highs. Yes, all-time highs here on Meta. I have 600 as my target here. I actually got into a trade on Meta this morning, but I bailed way too early and missed out on a lot of profit here. Hopefully you guys were able to capture some of that, but I've been waiting for this thing to bust out, and 600 is definitely on the docket. It can happen. So watching that, and congrats to anybody who was able to get that move there. And remember, if you have any questions, just go ahead and throw those in the chat. NVIDIA, you could see that we had a nice bullish engulfing candle on Wednesday. I had buy levels marked out there. I actually have them marked out on my chart here for where I will add to the position that I currently have, because I do think we're going to still get some more correction here. We were able to hit this first spot where I wanted to add to my position. But I think over time, we're going to see it move sideways, drop a little bit before it resumes higher. And if you go back to last year, so here was the big gap up in May right here, which doesn't look big compared to what it's done recently, but you could see all the sideways consolidation through December, and then when January come around, that's when it ran. I wouldn't be surprised to see something similar, just some sideways consolidation and chop, and then maybe November, December time see a bigger move. It will move. It's just a matter of time and when that's going to happen. Now, the big boy who finally came alive this week was none other than Tesla, and you could see that it's just been straight up, right? It's been going straight up, and this move really was precipitated by beating delivery expectations for the recent quarter that they're going to announce earnings on, and that's going to be July 23rd. That's actually a very big day for earnings. You have Microsoft, you have Google, you have Tesla reporting earnings. But you could see on that delivery beat, what happened. They broke above this upper trend line, the mother of all trend lines, that really started back in 2021. And so it hasn't been above that, and now it is. And you can see there is absolutely nothing above it, and it has room to go. And it probably will face some resistance when you get into some of these areas to where the bear stepped in the past, but it's above all of its moving averages. Right now, it's trading at 249.87. This thing could hit 300 before it does report earnings. Then we get a slight correction. And then keep in mind that the robo-taxi event is on August 8th. That's going to be a big deal for this stock. That's where they're going to unveil the robo-taxi and autonomous driving. A lot of people are skeptical that it's going to happen. And it could be a buy the rumor, sell the news, but just make sure that that's marked on your calendar as well. Then you take a look at Netflix, getting close to that all-time high, so close. Can it do it? There's 50 minutes left in the market today. I have it marked here, the 7:02 $2.06. It almost got there, and it's hanging out. Can it do it? I wouldn't be surprised if it made a rally into the end of the day. But Netflix closing in on its all-time high. Amazon, since the last time we spoke, made a new all-time high. And really, that's one of the consistent things. Apple, new all-time high. That thing is running like crazy. 225 for Apple. And just think, not too long ago, we were talking about Apple down here. Like, man, this thing it's going down. It's going down. It's struggling, but it's pushing higher. And where is Microsoft? Look at Microsoft. And what do you have here? You have a new all-time high. So everything, especially when you look at the Mag 7, those big tech companies, they're pushing, they're going higher. They're essentially carrying the market. We need to get some breadth into this market. It needs to expand out to these other companies, these smaller caps, for this to be a sustainable rally. We'll see if that's going to happen. And the Apple's running now. And the one to keep an eye on is Tesla, right? It broke that trend line, and you have all these other companies that have hit new all-time highs. I would not be surprised to be saying by September that that Tesla has broken that 414 mark, which I believe is its all-time high. Now, remember, this thing split several times. So it was at one point a $2,000 stock. Yeah, 414.74 is its all-time high. But just keep an eye on this one, because when Tesla gets going, it can go, and there's very little that can stop it. So just trying to see if there's anything else I want to hit here. And if you guys don't have questions, then I'm going to just hop off. So the last thing would be just taking a look at Bitcoin. So this thing has had a pretty significant drop from it. This wasn't an all-time high here, but its most recent high on June 7th. And you could see it's corrected quite a bit. If we just measure this out from that peak there, that's 25%. Now, everybody's panicking because we had all this sell-off here, but look at this hammer that's coming in today. And typically when moves are over, you'll see just an explosion of volume. And a lot of times volume will confirm and say that the move will keep going, but that hammer associated with that volume, potentially the bottom, near-term bottom, could be in for Bitcoin, and we could be getting ready to rally. So that is a beautiful, beautiful hammer. And I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on that. So just wanted to point that out there. So I guess I don't have any questions. It's all good. It's a Friday, and it's the day after the 4th of July. So people are probably recovering from festivities, but I will be back next week with another Ask a Trader. We'll have these throughout the remainder of the summer. If you ever have any questions, please hit me up on my Facebook, or you can email me, couragepaysbetter@gmail.com, and I'll get back to you with any questions that you have. If you'd like to have anything covered in one of the podcasts or in a mini, send it my way. I'd love to help you with that. And until the next time, thank you for joining me for Ask a Trader. I will see you next week. Have a great day, everybody.